Hello YouTube, how you all doing? This is Phil from Cartoon and in this video I will be presenting you my Gren Maju deck that I played at the Dreieich regional last weekend. And without further ado, let's get into the deck. It is a Danger Gren Maju variant. Of course we are playing the triple Gren Maju the Isa, the signature card of the deck, gains 4 in an attack for each of your banished cards. So that's the whole strategy which this deck revolves around. And to support that strategy, we're running, I ran the triple Gizmek Orochi. This entire idea is based off the recent success that this deck had at YCSs in America and most notably in YCS London, making top 16. So a lot of my deck is, our theory was based on that. So triple Gizmek, and then we go right to the dangers. I'm playing triple Thunderbird, triple Danger Bigfoot, and triple Danger Ogopogo. So the reason why we run so many level 8 dangers is first off, they can clear the board, and secondly, we have a rank 8 engine in our extra deck, which really takes the Gren Maju strategy to another level, so to say. So those are the 9 dangers. Then to support that, I ran 2 Danger Nessie, semi-limited obviously, then 2 Danger Jackalope, and triple Danger Chupacabra. So I do not run Danger Tsuchinoko as did the top 16 guy in London. Sorry, I forgot your name. And the reason why is because Tsuchinoko is just a body on the field, but it doesn't really advance your game state, which is just obliterating your opponent with Gren Maju. So Chupacabra, on the other hand, can special summon level 8, so he's good for that, and more dangers is always pretty nice. So last card in the main deck for the monsters is Phantasme, which I'm running 3 of. I know this is not that good of a budget option, but you need to run Phantasme because if your opponent has like one infinite impermanence or effect veiler on your Gren Maju, you just lose directly. And also Phantasme fixes your dead hands or hands where are not that optimal, so you can draw into Desires, into Gizmek. So Phantasme is really important. Then 25 monsters, we go to the spells, starting off with Pot of Desires, one of my very favorite cards in the game. Banishes 10, so Gren Maju is instantly at 4000 attack. Then other draw cards I'm running are the 2 Trade-in. Don't think 3 is that necessary because in the later parts of your turn you don't want to see this. You just want to resolve that once to discard like a Bigfoot, Gizmek or a Thunderbird, and that's it. And another draw card I ran was 1 random Allure of Darkness. I cut something in the main deck, I don't remember anymore, but this is good because it draws you 2 cards and then you can choose what you want to banish in comparison to Into the Void where you just draw 1, so you can dig into for those Pot of Desires, etc. Then card destruction. I sacked so many people at the regional with card destruction. Absolutely hilarious card. Fantastic. What's more to say? And also the same thing goes for super polymerization. This is, if you don't can grab Gren Maju, this is like your second OTK enabler because the dangers just get special sum to the board, and then you during battle phase you do super poly. Then another great idea that the recent Gren Maju decklist had was running triple Cosmic Cyclone in comparison to the Hate Runate. I'm a really good fan of Cosmic Cyclone. It's also played in other meta decks at the moment, so there's a reason for it. It can clear so many good things, and yeah, like Babel and stuff, you know. Then 1 Danger Response Team. If you don't know what Danger Response Team does, you can target 1 Danger monster you control and a monster card on the field, bounce them both back to the hand, so pretty good against Colossus and stuff. Then second effect, if it is in the graveyard, you can discard a Danger monster and put this card back on under your deck, and then you draw a card, so you can trigger something like Chupacabra and yeah, just go through your deck. And also, because this is a danger card, you can either search it with your Nessie, or you can even put it into the graveyard with Ogopogo, which is his effect. And the last card in the main deck is Monster Reborn. Same goes for card destruction. Monster Reborn won me so many games. Great card. For the cards in the main deck, and then onto our extra deck, I play one number 23, Lancelot, Dark Knight of the Underworld. This also won me quite a lot of games because the opponent didn't see it coming. Just like in the feature match at the YCS, this card can negate something your opponent does and also attack directly. So in one game I won through that. You can see it in the tournament report that I'll be doing later. Then Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus, Nightmare Unicorn. You see them already so many times. One Witch Apprentice. Sometimes you have Chupacabra or useless stuff on the field that you want to link off, so she's a good option, also good for getting Gizmek back into the grave. Then I ran Topologic Trispania. I had that idea because she's easily summoned and you can clear the back row of your opponent and do some nice burn damage. Then one Pentestack. Pentestack just requires 2 effect monsters, and if he's summoned, you just summon your Gren Maju underneath his zone, and what your Gren Maju is then able to do is do piercing damage. So if you have something like a Colossus in defense mode on your opponent's side of the field, you just summon this and swing through it. Then for other rank 8s, I went number 38, Top Harbinger, something against Sky Striker. Then one number 68, the Sky Prison, which prevents both players from summoning cards, monsters from their graveyard, and it's not destroyed by card effects this turn until the end of the next turn. So this is such a solid choice against Salamangreat. I put this up a whole lot of times and won through that. Then one Dingirsu. Yeah, we're playing Orcus cards in our deck. Dingirsu is also pretty important here because it is a rank 8 monster which you can summon by your dangers and then clear the board of your opponent. So if you have another example, a Colossus, you can clear that by summoning Dingirsu. And also it protects your Gren Maju, so if there's like a Salamangreat Rage, you can also protect it by just detaching one. Then Super Poly targets, I ran 2. Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This came up, I believe, 1 or 2 games where I needed 2 in one game. So glad I played 2. Then the Dragostopelia, 1 Fusion and 1 Dark. And the Violet Chimera, Salamangreats, and 1 Mud Dragon. You can see in the tournament report where I won because of him. So very, very great card. Side deck is over here. I ran triple Twin Twisters, obviously, against back row, and as well as triple Hatronate. It bounces the entire back row of your opponent back to the hand. The reason why I'm not running Red Reboot is because the dangers will discard the Red Reboot, so you first have to put something on board for them to even use their traps, but then the Red Reboot may already be discarded through your danger effect, so this is not good. Whereas Hatronate, you can sometimes set it, then use it, or like Twin Twister, discard Thunderbird to pop 3. Then triple Gamasiel. If you draw 2, you can special 1 on your side of the field to make a rank 8 Exorcia, so that's the theory behind that. And also in games 2 and 3, people like playing Orcust or Salamangreat will link away most of their stuff, so they will not get hurt by super polymerization, so they sometimes will just end on 1 Sunlight Wolf and then you kaiju them and you win the game. Then if they make you go first, because that's what a lot of people will do, games 2 and 3 is you can decide there can only be 1, which you have a great chance of actually seeing because you have so many draw power cards. So this was a great addition to the deck. And triple Danger Zone, you can search this out by Nessie, and yeah, it gives you something to set during your first turn, so you draw into your Bigfoot and discard a Bigfoot to destroy something. Not that good. I don't think 3 is that needed because I often drew it into it after turn 1, but I think it's a good edition in the side deck. So that was my side deck, and then we'll do the tournament report. So in regards to the tournament report, I'll be going over my matchups. We played 9 rounds of Swiss at the Dreieich regional. The tournament started at like 12 o'clock, and we actually had 290 players. So like I said, 9 rounds of Swiss, which had a long day ahead of us. The space was really tight, but yeah, we pulled through. And at round 1, we played against Salamandcrate, where I won the dice roll. It was a like 14-year-old kid. And at the first game, we had a back and forth. I summoned number 68, but yeah, he out-resourced me. Then in the second game, he had the opening of Ash, Lancia, War, Rage, and Thriller, because I let him go first, and I had no chance. So I started with a loss in the first round. Then in the second round, I was matched against an Endymion player, where I also lost the dice roll. He was a newer player, and he had mainly structure deck cards in his deck. So in the first game, I let him. He started off and made a rather small board, but I was able to clear it with Bigfoot, and then during the battle phase, I used Super Poly to attack for game. Then in the second game, he started again and just ended with a Cerberus with counters. So yeah, I went ahead and revealed my Danger Ogopogo, special summoned it. But then I ate a Throne Lockbird, and I had 3 more dangers in hand, so I had to set my Super Poly and wait for the next turn, which I then won. So I was standing 1 win and 1 loss there. In round 3, I matched against Danger Thunder Dragon. I won the dice roll. Don't remember much in the first game, but I actually lost to a random effect Veiler, which I couldn't stop because I didn't have Phantasme. So yeah, that was that. Then in the second game, I let him go first again, but I decided into there can only be 1 and into the Kaijus, which was a great decision because I threw into the there can be only 1, and yeah, won there and offset. Then third game I lost doing tying out because yeah, turn took forever. Then I lost there 1-2, 1-4, sorry. Went against Subterror, lost the dice roll. Game 1, I cleared his back row when he started, but the hidden city is such a pain in the ass. You can't imagine, because when Gren Maju attacks, he just does his hidden city and negates the attack. So yeah, that was pretty awful. Second game, he pricked, just set a Guru, then I threw into Twin Twister and won from there. Third game, he just started again, but had a superb setup with like hidden city, Guru, full back row, Phoenix in hand. So I had no removal cards, and I lost from there. I was 1-3 at that moment, and yeah, no chance of topping anymore. But I told my friends I'm 1-3, but I'm gonna go 6-3, and let's see how I did in the last rounds. So round 5, I went up against Sky Striker. I lost the dice roll again, and this was actually fast duel. In the first game, he ends with a great setup, like engage next turn, but no really big interruptions. So in his end phase, I do my Gizmek and special 1 Thunderbird and attack over his Shizuku with both of them. Then he takes out Foray, I special Phantasme, fix my hand, and then I go for number 38 Harp Harbinger, and which this just ends the game from there. So I was up in the second game. He let me go first, but yeah, I just passed with nothing. So he had another great turn, getting engage of area 0, but unfortunately for him, my hand was so incredible. I used Gizmek, then when I was up again, I used Gizmek, I used Gamasiel, tributing his Shizuku. Then I used Hate Grenade, card destruction, discarding his engage. I drew Pot of Desires, and then after a few plays, this little boy had over 7,000 attack, which was enough. Then I won. So on round number 6, Salamandcrate. Another Salamandcrate matchup. I won the dice roll, but don't remember much from there. He had like a streak of sniping 9 dangers. So in the entire match, he sniped 9 dangers. That happened. It didn't happen afterwards. So I made number 68 in 2 games. This was devastating. Great card, like I said. We had a little small talk during the game, but the game went into the timeout and I had more life points. So yeah, I bounced back a little, 3-3. Round number 7 then, I went against Orcus, my first Orcus matchup for the day, which I actually consider the worst matchup for Gren Maju because of the board he did in game 1, which was Babel and IP Masquerina. So I tried to break his board by going for an XYZ summon, but then yeah, Nibiru, and you know what happened from there on. Then game number 2, I made Lancelot as my 5th summon, which caught him by surprise. So yeah, I was able to win that game. And going into game number 3, he ended on Topologic Bomber Dragon, actually interesting, just Bomber Dragon, and a Babel with the Super Poly set. So what I did was I drew for my turn and had a Monster Reborn. So I Monster Reborn his Gizmek. Obviously he changed his Gizmek to special it to a Topologic Bomber Dragon, but not in his own. So he had 2 darks on the field then, which made me able to activate Super Polymerization to summon the Starving Venom. Did a couple of things, and then he Super Polyed me back. So he used my Starving Venom for his Starving Venom. Actually interesting. He, I don't know, he didn't want me to go into Lancelot on Dingisu, I can imagine. So then I did a cool play. I had another Super Polymerization in my hand, and then I used his Chimera and my Gizmek to summon not this guy, but to summon the Mud Dragon. Mud Dragon, 2 monsters with the same attribute, but different types, which those guys are. And if Mud Dragon is summoned, or if you use this effect, you can change his attribute. So I changed his attribute to Fire, and then he cannot target those cards anymore with that attribute. So you know what other guy is dark in Fire in our deck? It is Gren Maju, so I could normal summon him and then swing for 10,400 damage, and his set impermanence was that. So that was actually a great play on my part, I can admit. Then round number 8, I went up against Paleozoic Frogs, another cool deck, favorite of mine. I lost a dice roll, he went first and just bricked with a Ronin Toad Trap Trick set. So I specialed some danger monsters, made Dingisu, and at that point I sent away his Lost Wind. He tried to use Trap Trick, but during resolution, yeah, the card just gets sent to the graveyard. Yeah, won that game. Second game, he let me go first, and I started with a pretty good setup for going first, which was Twin Twister with another Cosmic Cyclone. So from that point on, he normal summoned Swap Frog, sent something, bounced him back, and ended on 5 back row. But luckily I hit the correct cards, and during my turn I normal summoned Gren Maju, and yeah, he had to solemn warning that, and was also already left at 4,000 life points. And since he was just left with 2 Olenoides, the MST, I special 2 danger monsters and won from there. Then yeah, I actually had a chance of still getting my invite, and last round was a good friend of mine from locals actually. He played Invoked, or he plays the Invoked deck. So I knew what I was up against, and I won the dice roll luckily, because both of those decks want to go second. So game 1, obviously I let him go first. I broke the board and was able to OTK with Gren Maju. Then the second game I sided into my danger zones. One of the few times those were actually good. So I ended with danger zone, and there can be only 1, and so no monsters. He summoned Poker Trio, poked me once, and yeah, next turn I could summon Lancelot, and no, sorry, I didn't have this. I summoned Lancelot and summoned 2 Danger Bigfoot. Lancelot attacked directly, clear his Booger trio, and those 2 Bigfoots did exactly 8,000 damage in total. So yeah, I won this game again, and I went 6-3 after Swiss, which was pretty good. I didn't expect this, to be honest, because I just picked up the deck on Saturday before attending the regional, so I didn't have a whole lot of experience playing this deck. Obviously, it's not that complicated to be honest, but yeah, sometimes you have to know what order of plays you have to do. So pretty good there for earning my invite already. Last words, I want to shout out my good friend Sebastian for letting me borrow some of his danger cards. Thank you, Sebastian. And also shout outs to all the local attendees at our local tournaments. You know how you are. Shout outs to you guys. Really fun playing with you. Nothing more to say. Also, thank you guys for subscribing. If you haven't already, please do that. We are putting out a lot of great content, in my opinion, that you may be interested on, like opening all the products or doing deck profiles like these. So yeah, thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Fill out. Bye.